a tonnage chart. Every single press brake should have come with these, and probably did at one time. If you'll note in this chart, across the top, we have V-die opening. Down the sides, we have gauges or thickness. In the center of the chart, we have the tonnage values. And as you'll note in this chart, there are several that are grayed out, those being the tonnages using the 8 times rule in cold roll steel. This will be explained as we go along. Besides the raw material that's shown in this chart, I'd like you to note the bottom of the chart. Here we have a listing for soft brass, 50% of rated tonnage. Soft aluminum, 50% of rated tonnage. Some stainless steels, 50% more than rated tonnage. Chrome molybdenum, 100% more, and some types of aluminum coming in the same as cold roll steel. So the point is that regardless of what the chart says, it is based in cold roll steel. So I may have to factor that tonnage by material type. This next chart that you see comes from a standard tooling catalog. This one furnished compliments of Amada. And you'll notice that there are 2 columns, a maroon one and a white column. In the maroon columns, I have the different tools by number. In the white column next to it, I have the tonnage ratings. Which tools are which, I have no idea. But you will note that the highest tonnage rating available on this chart is 30 tons per foot. Well, what if you have standard American tooling? It generally does not come with a rating. So how do I know what those tools will withhold? Well, how much will the tool handle? Well, we need to consider some of the variables. What is the tool geometry? The chemical makeup? The size and thickness of the body? What kind of heat treatments have been done to it? Even for the best of engineers, this is a very difficult call. If I take a standard straight punch like this one, you can tell just by looking at it that it will hold more than 30 tons per foot pressure. So why 30 tons? Well, we need to understand a little bit more about how the press brake functions. First, we need to discuss deflection. The ram of the press brake is made to deflect. Press brakes are designed for center line loading. In other words, I'm going to work out of the center of the press brake. When I do that, the center of the press brake deflects. And it's always going to deflect. Nothing has ever been done that would stop that from happening. There is a standard rule, though, that regardless of the size of the machine that I'm operating, that I will not apply full tonnage, whatever that is for that machine, to anything less than 60% of the distance between the side frames. When I start applying more pressure than is allowed, I start having other things occur within the frame and structure of the press brake. In this case, I begin to see yaw. Yaw being the flexing back of the side frames under a load. Some of this is to be expected, and many modern controllers and press brakes have compensation devices that help alleviate any kind of changes due to yaw. But more importantly, we have deflection. Again, this is where the load of the press brake is being forced so that under load it stretches up, and as soon as the load is taken off, it returns back to its flat position. This again is a normal function of press brake operation. However, if I go past 30 tons per foot, I achieve what is known as ram upset. In other words, I'm going to flex that ram up and it's going to stay there. It's never going to return back to its flat position when the load has been removed. It means it's going to stay that way. So for example, let's say I have a 250-ton press brake, 14 feet between the side frames. Well, 60% of 14 feet is 8.4 feet. Divide that by 250 tons, we get 29.76 tons per foot, or rounded to 30 tons US. Now, I must qualify the 30 tons at this point. Not all machines max out at 30 tons. The only person that can tell you the amount of tonnage your machine is capable of holding or withstanding is the manufacturer of that particular press brake. Some are 40, some are 50. In this case, I'm using 30 only as a reference. You will have to go back to your manufacturer and ask them what the load limit is on your machine. Nonetheless, everything we're going to talk about here still applies. The tonnage may go up a little bit, but that's all. Thank you.